Tragedy struck in Katukurunda, Kaluthuru today, where 11 lives were lost. We have details of that story coming up later on in the news. Good evening and welcome to this Sunday's edition of News First Weekend. I'm Arundhati Mudanayaka. Let's take a look at tonight's headlines.
11 dead and 5 critically injured after boat capsizes off the coast of Kaluthuru. Sri Lanka Navy and Air Force deploy search and rescue teams. Prime Minister Wickremesinghe exposes the country's total debt repayments. 2 more army personnel who are alleged to have attacked journalist Keith Noyer remanded. Sri Lanka clinches nail-biting win against Australia in the second T20 to claim their third consecutive T20 series win on Australian soil.
A boat carrying a group of worshippers for a religious ceremony capsized off the coast of Katukurunda in Kaluthuru today. 11 people, including a child, drowned in the incident. 18 people were rescued, while the police noted that 5 of them are in critical condition. A number of families from the Beruwala fisheries community set out in a procession of boats today as part of the celebration of the annual feast of St. Lazarus Church in Beruwala. One of the boats suddenly turned turtle during the procession. The passengers and crew of the other boats immediately attempted to rescue passengers from the stricken boat, and the rescuees were rushed to hospital. However, 11 people drowned in the incident.
There were 50 in the boat in front of us. The load was too much. That is why it capsized. We managed to save many people by throwing life jackets. They hold this function every year at the Beruwala harbour. They expect to obtain blessings for the work they do. According to the information we have got, there had been about 40 in the boat.
The Navy and Air Force also deployed search and rescue teams to the scene of the tragedy. Meanwhile, President Maithripala Sirisena took to Twitter today to express his condolences to the families of the victims. Two military intelligence personnel who were arrested over the 2008 attack on journalist Keith Noyer, defence correspondent for the Nation's newspaper, have been remanded until the 3rd of March. A major in the Sri Lanka Army and 2 others were arrested yesterday over the incident.
The 2 military intelligence personnel were arrested by officers at the Criminal Investigations Department over the abduction, detention and assault on journalist Keith Noyer. The 2 suspects are to be produced in an identification parade on the 3rd of March. 3 military intelligence personnel were arrested yesterday and placed in remand custody. A total of 5 suspects, including an army major, have now been arrested over the attack on Keith Noyer. Keith Noyer was reported missing in May 2008 and had disappeared while on his way home from work. He was later returned to his residence in a state of unconsciousness. Noyer subsequently travelled overseas for security.
The Nation newspaper's defence correspondent Keith Noyer is abducted and assaulted. The MTV MBC studio complex in Depanama is firebombed. Senior journalist Lasantha Wickrematunge murdered in Athidiya. Editor-in-chief of the Rivira newspaper Upali Thennakon is attacked by an unidentified group travelling on 2 motorcycles. Tennecone and his wife are injured while their vehicle is damaged. Grenade attack on the officers of the Udayan newspaper in Jaffna. Journalist Poddala Jayanta is attacked by unidentified persons in Ambuldenia Nugegoda. The attackers had also cut off Jayanta's hair and beard. Attack on the head office of the MTV MBC media network. Several employees are injured. Officers of the Voice of Asia network, comprising the Siyata TV channel and radio station, attacked. Officers of the Udayan newspaper in Jaffna attacked once again. This was the 33rd attack on the newspaper and journalists working there.
Well, just moments after Sri Lanka's victory, the President's media unit said that President Maithripala Sirisena had congratulated the Sri Lankan cricket team over the telephone. President Sirisena had also personally congratulated Asela Gunaratne for his match-winning performance. Moving on, an event to present homes to people who were displaced by the major landslide in Samsarakhanda in Aranayaka was held today under the auspices of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. 20 persons who were displaced by the landslide were presented homes today. Financial assistance was also presented to people who had lost property as a result of the landslide.
We came together because there are major issues in the country. We were aware of the depth of it. We were made aware of the state of the economy. An official close to the former president told me when I met her that he had gone in for an election because he could not manage the economy. How do we pay our local and foreign debt? The time has come now to repay our debts. The former president did not know how to do it. We have decided to face this no matter what and have embarked on a program. I will let you know the foreign debt that has to be repaid this year. It is 4.08 billion. The figure is in dollars, not rupees. In 2018, it will be 4.16 billion. In 2019, it will be 3.14 billion, and in 2020, it will be 3.2 billion. In 2021, it will be 3.19 billion. In 2022, it will be 3.56 billion. In 2023, it will be 1.94 billion. In 2024, it will be 1.84 billion. In 2025, it will be 3.9 billion. And in 2026, it will be 2.53 billion. This is the debt and the interest together. When you add it up, it is a small amount, isn't it? 31.19 billion. All these figures are in dollars, not rupees.
Addressing a public meeting in Matara last night, General Secretary of the Janata Vimukti Peramuna Thiruvin Silva expressed the following views.
There are two factors which have caused Sri Lanka to fall into debt. Governments in our country initiated several loss-making projects, like White Elephants, by obtaining loans just to carve their names. They weren't initiated with our own money. The other reason for us to fall into debt is because Sri Lanka has incurred a massive loss in foreign trade. Rather than paying off the debt with the money they earn by taxing us, this government is wasting it. On the other side, they spent 1.18 billion to purchase vehicles for the ministers in this government. That was when they increased VAT to 15%.
The issue that has arisen regarding spectrums or wavelengths in relation to the Google Loon project continued to stir controversy in the political arena today. JVP leader Anrukumar Udasanaka had this to say on the matter.
The people will not be able to claim victory in any IT-related victories if they do not have ownership of the wavelengths. This is a resource that must be owned by the state. But today the government is acting on various ulterior motives to confer these wavelengths on a company selected by them. A long process is already underway to achieve this.
A memorandum of understanding was signed on the 28th of July 2015 to facilitate the Project Loon pilot project. It was noted then that the project would be undertaken in Sri Lanka by a company known as Rama. The legitimacy and ethics of this agreement was questioned on the political stage today.
රාමා කියලා ආයතනයක් වුන් තෝරාගෙන තිබෙනවා.
A company known as Rama has been selected. A plan has been prepared to confer ownership of these wavelengths on this company. If another company from our country or a citizen of our country wishes to purchase the wavelengths, they have to buy it from Rama. These wavelengths will be far more valuable in the future than they are now because global technology is developing based on the IT sector.
මත පදනම්ව
ප්‍රහාණ්‍ය රජයෙන් මේ ආකාරයෙන්
We asked the government to tell us how this company received this opportunity. What was the criteria to give them this opportunity? This must be explained clearly. Why were local telecommunication companies in Sri Lanka not given this opportunity, and why was it given to this company? This agreement was signed between ICTA and Google. Now the ICT agency says they do not know how this was given. They say it is true that they signed the agreement, but they do not know how this opportunity was given to that company. It is the government's responsibility to explain this. The subject minister must explain how this company was suddenly given the opportunity. There is a problem with transparency here. This is the same question we brought up continuously under the previous regime. How was this company given the opportunity and what was the basis for it?
ලබා දෙන පදනම.
Who are the directors of the company Rama? Who is behind them?
The Colombo District Conference of the National Bhikkhu Front was held in Kottava yesterday. The conference had been organized under the theme Protecting the Heritage of the Bhikkhu and the Rights of the People. The event was held under the auspices of patron of the National Bhikkhu Front, Venerable Professor Attangane Ratnapala Thera.
මේ රටේ විශාල ගැටලුවක් තමයි මහ බැංකු බෙදුම් කර සිද්ධිය. අලාභය රුපියල්
A major problem in this country is the central bank bond incident. The loss was 1,600 million rupees or 1.6 billion rupees. Today, that crime is growing further. The losses are increased by the billions. The people of this country are aware of it. In spite of this, we saw a bhikkhu who frequents a Hilton hotel going to the court in Halsdorf and saying that it is completely wrong and that there are no accusations against the governor of the central bank and that he had acted correctly. Thereby, he asked that any accusations against him be withdrawn since he is a pure treasure. Those who empowered him, those who appointed him, and those who are protecting him are all very pure people. They act like they have taken sil. So this bhikkhu asked that they be acquitted. There are such people. And therefore, as National Bhikkhu Front, we must raise our voices against this system and this crime. We must speak against it. We must fight it and we must provide guidance.
මේ හඬට මේ ක්‍රමයට මේ වැරැද්දට එරෙහිව හඬ නගන්න කතා කරන්න සටන් කරන්න මඟ පෙන්වන්න.
Well, time for a short commercial break. Stay with News First. We will be right back. Welcome back. Here with News First. The musical concert Victor Vajraprabha, organised to celebrate the 75th birthday of veteran musician Victor Ratnayaka, was held yesterday under the auspices of President Maithripala Sirisena.
The concert was held yesterday at the Bandaranaike Memorial International Conference Hall. Victor Ratnayaka's newest album and a book titled Victor Gi Vimansa were presented to the President. The President also launched a website on Victor Ratnayaka.
An event was held at the Thalava Divisional Secretariat in Anuradhapura today to distribute construction material to 350 beneficiaries under the Samata Sevana Shilpa Savya program. The event was held under the auspices of Minister Sajid Premdasa.
Minister of Women and Child Affairs Chandrani Bandara was also present for the event.
I saw in the media yesterday the son of the former president, the parliamentarian, making a serious statement. He said that this government is declaring open projects which were initiated by his father's government. How can he say that this government is declaring open projects of the former president? We have declared open 19 model villages. I am extremely disappointed about this bold statement made by MP Namal Rajapaksa. During the 2 terms his father served as president of this country, what did he do? He allocated thousands of acres of land in the Hambantota district to accommodate racing cars. I must state with happiness that we will use these thousands of acres of land in the Hambantota district which were allocated for racing cars to construct a model village in Pandit Amaradeva's name.
Also in local news, Finance Minister Ravi Karnanayaka participated at several events held in Colombo today to mark his birthday.
Minister Karunanayaka first attended the ceremony to lay the foundation stone for the new Dhamma Hall at the Sri Kalyani Gangarama Viharya in Matta Kulia.
ඒක කරගෙන යන්න පුළුවන්. මෙතන තිබ්බේ යම් කාලාන්තරයකට යම් කොටස් දෙකක් අතර.
It can be done. What has happened here is that for some time, two factions have surreptitiously taken over this and acted to inflate prices. Our president also hails from the agriculture sector. He was aware of this and issued instructions about a month ago for us to act. We reduced the tax to ensure the people receive the benefit, and that is now being implemented. We are also protecting the local farmer. This is the biggest issue. People question what will happen to our farmers when the imports come in. We say to these farmers that we will fearlessly overcome this challenge in the future as well.
ඒ ගෝවියන්ට අපි කියන්නේ බය නැතුව ඒ දුන්න පොරොන්දු අපි ක්‍රියාත්මක කරනවා අපි ඉදිරියට ඒ අභියෝගේ බාරගෙන කටයුතු කරනවා.
The finance minister also attended a football match in Crow Island, following which he presented spectacles to the needy. Karunanayaka also attended an event held at New Chetty Street where he gifted a water filtration device to the people.
The popular young singer Dasun Madhushan, who rose to fame through Sirius's Superstar, visited the Mount Lavinia police today to lodge a complaint.
Madhushan arrived at the Mount Lavinia police this afternoon to dodge a complaint over an effort to defame him through a news story published on a certain website. He noted that the website had carried out a false story claiming that he had been arrested at Heathrow Airport in London in possession of drugs.
මේක අමූලික බොරුවක්. අතරම මේක මුලින්ම කතා කරන්න ඕන මේක ඇහුවම මමත්
This is a baseless lie. I was amazed when I first heard of it. I was saddened by the fact that there is such news out there. It says that I was arrested, but I have never even been to London. I have made many sacrifices, but I have withstood criticism to remain here today because I want to sing. I have lodged a complaint. Here is the paper. I had to do this because they could question me in the future and ask why I didn't file a complaint if I was innocent. This is proof. I am not involved in this in any way. I have been in Sri Lanka. This is a major attack on my reputation, so I will be looking for redress through the law.
මගේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් බාධාවක්. ඉතින් මගේ ඉදිරි ගමනටත් මේක බාධාවක්. ඉතින් මම නීතිමය පැත්තෙන් උපරිම දේවල් කරන්න සූදානම් වෙනවා.
Many wild animals are left to die by poachers when they are wounded after they are shot and or caught in traps. Newsfirst visited a hospital in Anuradhapura today where the staff are engaged in a valiant effort to save the lives of these animals.
This is the Pandulagama Wildlife Health Management Centre in Anuradhapura. A large number of wounded animals are currently being treated at this centre, which is operated by the Department of Wildlife Conservation. These are some of the in-house patients at the centre. Hunting has increased in the area along with the extremely dry climate. Therefore, we are receiving large numbers of deer and sambar who have been shot at. We treat animals like deer, sambar, monkeys, hawks, wildcats and elephant calves on a daily basis.
උකුස්ස කොළදිවිය වැනි සතුන් අලිපැටව වැනි සතුන් ප්‍රතිකාර කිරීම අපි සිදු කරනවා.
This is the only in-house treatment centre for injured wildlife in Anuradhapura, Putlam, Kurunagala and Mannar districts. The centre treats injured animals but is also home to the orphaned. Veterinarian Chandana Jayasinghe knows that it costs upwards of 500,000 rupees a month for treatment and to provide food for the animals. He adds that many of these animals have been injured due to human activity. Many of these animals have been injured by humans. Many animals are poisoned when they encounter traps or they are injured when hunters use firecrackers. A reduction in such human activities in these areas will certainly help us do our jobs.
That's
a look at this Sunday's edition of News First Weekend. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Arundhati Mudannayaka. Have a great week ahead of you. Good night.